Okay, we're going to take a look at a hacked plastic surgeon website. So we're going to study the case and see how he was hacked, what the consequences are, and sort of the type of attacks that a website can go under. I'm here with my partner Anthony Caldwell, all the way from Australia, and we're going to look at Dr. Robert Rehnke's website. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Anthony. So let's start going through it.
Thanks, Nick. This is a fairly high-profile plastic surgeon's website, and what we're going to try an example here is a hacked plastic surgery website, and the type of hack that it is. And ideally, this is a black hat SEO web spam hack scheme that ultimately creates hidden links on the hacked or targeted website that focuses those links on other hacked websites. So it's effectively a fairly large link farm. This particular site has in excess of, I think, 600 plus pages as part of that hack. A number of those pages redirect to other websites that have been hacked in conjunction with an online pharmacy scam of promoting counterfeit drugs, and ultimately counterfeit drugs do cause death.
That sounds pretty serious for a physician to have that kind of stuff on his website. So okay, let's go through it.
All right. Well, let's just begin. So if we have a look at Dr. Rehnke's website, it's the title is Center for Surgical Excellence, and we can see it in Google. The Google result is fairly standard. You've got the sitemap producing these links that we can see here. Mm-hmm. The results are fairly traditional. But when we start digging into the site itself, what we're finding is that if we look for the terminology Viagra within the site itself, we're starting to get up to 183 pages here. And as you can see, I'm on page 2 of Google results.
Okay, so what have you done here? You've you've done a custom search here for. Can you just scroll up so everyone can see what we're looking at? Okay, it's fine.
Yeah, I've just scrolled up now.
Site, so site ranking
Rehnke.md.com.
Okay.
That's correct. So this is an advanced Google search operator, just to see possibly how many pages on Dr. Rehnke's website mention the term Viagra.
Got it.
And as you can see here, we've got Viagra appearing on up to 183 individual pages, including some of his main content pages. So the actual hack is fairly deep. They've successfully hacked pretty much every single page of his website. Wow. And then added their own pages to the site. So I'll just show you another screen. It's just going to take a couple of seconds to load.
So they've injected actual pages into his domain. So now he's hosting a third party's pages without his knowledge, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So what they've done is they've and it's part of a long con. It takes a considerable amount of time for a pharmacy hack to have effect. So what they do is they initially come in and create stuff it with keywords. So they put the terminology into the existing content. Mm-hmm. Then they come back a little bit later and create some additional pages on the site in relation to the types of products that they're trying to market. If we change this term to, say, callus, which is another Viagra-related term, so I've actually misspelled that. What we'll see is, misspelled it again.
Yes,
again. Yeah, that's correct. We've got another 168 pages that have reappeared on Dr. Rehnke's website that show the terminology callus. And as you're aware, we keep seeing online Canadian pharmacy pop up in our research continuously. Mm-hmm. So, and for them to target doctors, it's about tricking Google as much as it is just tricking the average user into believing that this is a legitimate product.
Okay, so they're using the doctor's authority and the credibility of his own site while he still has it before he was hacked to try to push through those things. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. And the person who clicks on the Google search results, um, ultimately, if we were to click on this, and I'll open up one in a new page so we can actually just see what happens here. So as you can see, the page is now starting to load. It says, hey, look, here we are on Dr. Rehnke's website. It redirects to this particular page, and then bang, it automatically cuts
Oh,
across
wow.
to another pharmacy site. And in this case, it's an American pharmacy, but as we can see on this page, we on the original search page for Callus, we've got UK pharmacy
Hmm.
about halfway down, three-quarters of the way down the page. We'll have the Canadian pharmacy up the top. So these guys aren't really choosy about which pharmacy that they're
Yeah.
marketing. Uh, it's about the conversion ratios and selling the Viagra, the drugs that people are looking for online to be able to buy online. And 9 out of 10 times that these drugs are counterfeit. And where counterfeit drugs are a hazard to public health, and also illegal to sell in this manner.
So it goes a little deeper though, doesn't it, than just selling those drugs? Because once they get somebody to purchase off of this doctor's website, because essentially he's now hosting kind of like an e-commerce store for those guys. After they purchase, now they have the person's name, email, home address, and possibly their phone number. So basically all the details that they need and all their credit card information. Is that correct?
That's correct, and it leads to identity theft. And look, as the hack ages, one of the things that they do with an aged hack is the next step is to actually insert malware on the site.
Hmm.
And I did a little bit of digging on the malware side earlier today, and this was the result of the malware research. And as we can see here, the site is infected with malware. It's actually been listed as critical. Um,
Okay.
and it's also been affected with SEO spam, as the industry tends to call it. But there's multiple payloads, and we can effectively say that pretty much every single page of Dr. Raki's website has been loaded with malware, and that is directly related to identity theft. And if we look at what identity theft, costs countries in America or Canada or Australia,
Hmm.
here in Australia, I think the take was close to $37 billion last year globally. We're talking like almost $400 billion. Yeah,
Okay. Can you explain what a payload is?
Yeah, look, a payload is when you click on a site, it calls a script, and the script then delivers malware to the computer via the browser, yeah, onto the user's computer. Normally, the target 9 out of 10 times is a Microsoft device, a Microsoft machine.
Hmm.
Linux is a little bit better. And it then downloads a virus, effectively malware, to that user's machine,
Hmm.
which then goes into their email address book, possibly grabs their banking details, possibly grabs their logins for not only their bank account but other user accounts, and it just becomes and steals ultimately their identity. So then the criminal network, the hackers, can go ahead and start adopting that individual's identity. It may find photographs of that person to use in counterfeit driver's licenses, for argument's sake. It then may find their Facebook pages. It may be able to turn a camera on in their home. So
So
ultimately, it just leads to exploit after exploit after exploit.
so this doctor essentially, the anybody going there to for viewing his services, they could potentially be infected now. Um,
That's correct.
his
They
existing
could.
clients, his potential clients, everyone going there is getting, on a Microsoft machine is probably getting a virus. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, very possibly. Like I haven't tested it on a Microsoft device at the moment. Like I use Linux, and the purpose of using Linux is to minimise these types of attacks
Hmm.
to our interests. Yeah, but look, ultimately that is a real possibility, and it will then be directly related as the attack ages to identity theft. Because look, that's how the cyber criminals make their money, their income.
Okay.
And ultimately, once they get the credit card details, those credit card details go, once they're finished with them, they then resell them for other hackers to use. So
Okay.
there's carding, for what they term carding forums out there, or carding resale places where you can come along and buy credit card details from pre-existing hacked clients. Now, look, for a doctor, one of the tells that if his entire network's been rolled is that he may be getting complaints sent to him from users saying you're spamming me. And ultimately, from a doctor's perspective, they're after the client database, and then that then throws him into risk for the crypto lockouts. And again, that's perpetrated by Russians coming through or cyber criminals coming through and locking down his client database, and then saying, pay me $5,000, pay me $10,000, or pay me $20,000, and I'll unencrypt your client database so you can speak to them again. And we've seen a lot of that globally recently.
And you're
And
talking about
again,
like Russian organized crime when you say Russians, right?
yeah, look, I am. Look, part of I am definitely. Back in the early days, 2004, 2006, they were termed the Russian business network,
mhm.
and when they sort of got caught, with their fingers in the pie in financial institutes, they sort of stepped back into the shadows from which they came, but they're still out there, and they're a major cyber criminal force, and they've joined up with everybody else. So they do part of their hosting in Russia. They probably do part of their hosting in China.
Hmm.
They control a lot of the bot service, the command and control, the credit card service globally.
Okay,
They've got their pie in pretty much everything. From porn, through to pharmacy hacking,
got it.
through to parasite hosting, through to identity theft.
Okay, so don't let me get you sidetracked with my questions. Let's take a look at Dr. Rehnke's website further and see what else you've uncovered here.
Well, look, if we have a look at some of, look, I've just picked a page to have a look at this stage. Let me just get it up. Okay, maybe not, it won't work that way, but we'll go this way. All right, so here we've got a page within Dr. Rehnke's website, which is Viagra Delivery Canada. So as we can see here, it's pretty much a traditional source code of the page. So that we're actually viewing the source of that particular page. The page to the naked eye.
So this is the code underneath his website. This is what's
That's
generating his website.
correct. So if we have a look at it, this is the page here as it goes through the redirect. So this is the page on his existing server using Drupal. So the content management system that he's using is Drupal. I think the version is 7, and we can actually see the base data. And within 5 seconds, traditionally, this page would redirect. But what I've done is I've grabbed the page from Google Cache, because
Okay.
Google is able to cache every single page, and we can see here it's just full of jargon in relation to Viagra and pharmacy-related products. Yeah,
Okay, and
and all it is, it's the stuffing in a turkey. Yeah.
and these links here that you see on page, they're going off-site to other websites.
Yes, other websites that have been hacked
Okay, so
as
this
part of the overall pharmacy hack campaign.
So now this is in Google Cache. That means Google has crawled and indexed this page, and they're seeing these outgoing links to other compromised, virus-laden, spam, criminal websites.
Yep.
What would that do to his website over time in terms of search engine optimization, business development, ranking based on what Google's finding on his site?
Hurt his reputation. So ultimately, he'd
Mhm.
find his success within the search engines in general would slowly fall backwards. To the
Okay.
point that his search engine traffic would drop drastically. He then may get a warning from Google saying that we've noticed suspicious activity,
Mhm.
and then he may have a penalty applied. And that penalty being applied may like the worst case scenario is that they just de-index him.
Great. Okay. So this
But if
this is
we
potentially really harming his practice in terms of being able to get new patients over time. Sort of now he has to pay more for traffic if he's buying it, and even the traffic that he's buying, he's potentially infecting those visitors as well. So
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hurting his reputation, and it's hurting his reputation not just from a search engine perspective, but also from a user perspective. Because really, would you want to do business with an organisation that, to your naked eye, is trying to sell you online drugs,
Yeah. And
or
there's another real
has
sort of danger that a lot of doctors I think don't realize is that many people nowadays they install antivirus software, and even if you're not infecting them, something like Symantec or Norton or whatever they've got installed will physically block their website. So as the visitor tries to go there from a Google search, the antivirus software knows ahead of time not to let them visit that website, and then he's losing business because that person is just going to choose his competitor, and
that's
that's
right.
something that they don't even know is happening.
Yeah, he won't. He will not be aware of it, but the user will, and
Yeah.
they'll then form an opinion as to his credibility and
Yeah.
reputation online.
Hmm.
And the chances are that they won't want to can do business with him. So they won't want to choose him as their doctor. They'll go
Hmm.
and choose one of his competitors, and and that's a sad fact. And fairly unfortunate at the same time.
Okay. Okay, let's go through the rest of it. What else have we got? I see you've got a lot of tabs open there.
Yeah, we do. Look, this is where it actually redirects to, and as you can see, we've got like a whole list of products that we can sell on the left-hand side. So the best sellers, we've got special offers, but these are the products that they're promoting, and we can obviously buy Viagra or Callus or whatever we want to call it, excuse me, at different prices. Yeah. So the
Okay.
more you buy, the bigger the discount and the savings that you create. But the chances, as soon as you do a transaction here, the chances of you having your identity stolen is incredibly high.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, it's, the fact that this is on a website and the doctor's probably not even aware is, what makes me sad is the fact that a lot of physicians, they do have IT people, they have web developers, and they just don't secure these websites properly. And that's, clearly he's either cut corners or whoever he's paying to take care of this is really letting him down. And that's just a shame. It's,
Yeah, that's correct. It's look, his hosting company, so his web development company, they've all let him down, and he may have opted for an affordable package rather than a quality package. And the affordability versus quality, quality always wins out because affordability often leaves you open to exploit. And if we look here, like the way that this particular tactic of black hat SEO works is they'll drop the SEO spam link injections across the site. So first they
mhm.
stuff it with the keywords and the existing content, create the new pages with the page titles and the bit of guff that we've actually physically seen here. So the stuffing in the turkey,
Okay.
the backlinks to other existing sites. And then with the redirect that we're saying, that's SEO spam link injection. And the whole purpose of that is to compromise an existing website's database. And they use various techniques to do so. But ultimately, they've got control of this site. He doesn't have control of this site. He's not the
Hmm.
only person that has
Yeah.
control of this website. He's sharing it with the hosting company, possibly his web developers, but he is certainly sharing it with a group of cyber criminals presently
Hmm.
who are only interested in making money. They don't care about him. They don't care about his clients. They just care about the amount of dollars that are going into their pockets from their tactics. And then the chances of how did they get in? Well, it's either come through the hosting company and the software vulnerabilities that in relation to the Drupal content management system that he's using, or his web developers and the Drupal content management system.
Hmm.
So, and it just leads on to the malware where they'll drop in Trojans, they'll the viruses, etc. And it's the software vulnerabilities that let them get the access in the first place.
And it's there's something that a lot of people, I mean, you and I have discussed this in the past, but there's something that I think the general public and physicians certainly are not aware of. And I think I find many professionals are not aware of is that it's very typical for employees in an office to visit their own website. I know our clients certainly do it, which is why we lock down our websites. But I mean, they go there for information. They go there to find pricing. They refer to all sorts of things. They go there when they need to get and copy a link and send it to a client by email if they ask, if they get an inquiry email. And what people don't realize is that their office is at risk from their own website because if it's hosting malware, if it's hosting viruses, and their employees go to it, and their internal machines get infected, well, that's the fastest way to get into that business's database and steal their information, compromise their systems using their own website. And people take, I think security for websites rather lightly when they really should be paying very close attention to it.
That's correct, Nick. Look, we've seen it time and time and time again, where ultimately the website's been infected and compromised, and then we see the actual business network, the LAN environment becoming infected, and the servers and the office systems that business then uses to conduct its business being compromised, and ultimately the bank accounts and email accounts of that business being compromised. And then it leads to other types of compromises, such as social engineering for the clients or other businesses that they conduct business with, both suppliers and people that they provide to. So it becomes a never-ending opportunity, an infinity opportunity loop, you could say, because it just continues to roll out like dropping a pebble in a glass of water and watching the waves roll out. It's just a whole series of opportunities. So it's a never-ending loop,
Okay,
because
well,
there's more others to compromise.
this was extremely enlightening. I'm looking forward to doing the next one. This doctor, I think we should certainly try to contact him or something, see if he's aware of this problem. But it's very scary, and I'm going to certainly speak to every physician that we deal with and that's part of our networks about their current security and what they're doing. I know our clients are locked down, but I think this is it's a problem that looks like it's minor. People take their web hosting very lightly, and it can obviously lead to serious problems. I mean, a breach like this, where a doctor could be sued for selling medication that caused harm to somebody on his own website, he can't refute that. It's indexed in Google, it's archived on the internet, and he's ultimately he's responsible for what he's hosting on his website. And the fact that it's compromised like this is extremely dangerous for a physician. So
And
thank
that,
you for sharing this with us.
no worries, Nick. Thank you.